Hello and welcome to my third reading Batman. And boy, oh boy, do I have a treat today. We're going to look at Batman number 153 from 1962. And this was one of the stories that I read in that Batman from the 30s to the 70s book that I featured on the very first episode. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. And it was in black and white, and I was considering just reading that version of it, but then I thought, no, if I could get the color version, that would be worthwhile. So I happened to find these scans on the Internet Archive, and so that's what we're looking at today. So this this is one of the weirder stories. I guess I say this about each one, but this is a great example of Silver Age Batman. So and how it to me it kind of represents the absolute low point that the Batman comic took during this era, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's enjoyable for in its own way as being bad, and it just sort of epitomizes how bland and ridiculous and absurd Batman became in the 50s and, even into the 60s. It's 1962, but it's still very much a 1950s vibe to it. And how the comic book industry was reeling from the comic book scare that happened, that resulted in the Comics Code Authority, in which they had to tone down the big guys at least had to tone down their comics in order to get this ridiculous seal on the cover. And the writers of Batman really went out of their way to try to show that Batman and Robin weren't gay, to the point where they've introduced these characters, Batwoman and Batgirl. So now they kind of have each of them have ready-made girlfriends, and they're very, the characters are very convenient, as we'll see. The whole thing is just a hoot. So this is a startling 3-part novel featuring Batman and Robin and Batwoman and Batgirl, the whole Bat family, in Prisoners of Three Worlds. All right. So here we have a classic splash page from the Bill Finger era, where we've got, a gigantic prop. They're hanging on this gigantic replica of jewelry, and we see up in the top there a little alien in a space sled or something. Let's go over to the first page of the story, though. So we see Commissioner Gordon. The story opens, as it often does, with Bruce sitting in Commissioner Gordon's office, and he seems to often be sitting there just doing nothing. I get the feeling, you get the impression that the two of them just sort of sit there in silence and stare at each other. What is he doing there? Commissioner Gordon is musing to himself about how Bruce is a nice, amiable fellow, but it's a mystery to me why he seems to have no goal in life. So this is the Bruce of the Silver Age. No broodingness or anything like that. He's just sort of a listless, kind of silly goof, a rich goof. And then we have Dick Grayson. And the girls in his high school are whispering behind his back. He's cute looking, but he's such a drag. He doesn't even go to the dance. And now we have the female counterparts, Kathy and Betty Kane. So of course they're related, and they're rich, so they don't have to worry about jobs or anything like that. It's very convenient. I like this panel here of Kathy. I wonder if the artist used some photographic reference. This pose looks like something out of a cheesecake magazine. And the guy back here. I like that he's saying this in front of his wife. I never understood why a woman as attractive as Kathy isn't married yet. And in comes Betty Kane from out of town. She's wondering if she'll have another bad adventure during her visit to her aunt. Meanwhile, what are Robin and Batman doing? Okay, Robin, let's take the Batmobile out for a spin to see if any crimes need busting. And as soon as Betty and Kathy get together, they're off to the same thing. Hurry, Aunt Kathy. Gosh, I hope I get a chance to see Batman again. Batman, are you sure you really don't mean Robin? Okay, so we get into the story. We have our setup. The Bat folk are going to be out on patrol in the middle of the day, of course. and here we see our alien, and a male helicopter is spotting this alien in his sled, just sort of cruising in broad daylight. He says, some kind of alien being. I better see where he's heading and radio the police in case he intends to make trouble. This is something that he sees every once in a while. The alien, meanwhile, has his Vox detector, as he calls it, and it's clicking, indicating a good quantity of Vox in the building up ahead. And so he starts disintegrating the wall just as Batman and Robin roll up in their Batmobile. They've been tipped off by the radio operator in the male helicopter. And they're in some sort of exhibition hall, or jewelry exhibition hall. And the alien doesn't seem to understand why Batman and Robin are going for him. So he snaps the strings on the giant ring. But then we see here that he's glad that they weren't hurt. So we know that he's not a total baddie. And we also see that the alien is projecting his thoughts to them. They're hearing his words in their minds right before he turns his disintegrator ray on them. And when they come to the guard or the policeman, whatever this guy is, says he saw the whole thing and tells Batman that the alien got away with some silver. So Batman deduces that silver must be rare on his world. So Batwoman and Batgirl also happen to have picked up the signal, and they spot the alien flying off, and they contact Batman and Robin and tell them that they've just sighted the alien riding up Simmons Lane. Batman realizes that the big Ace Film Company plant is on Simmons Lane, and so they use a lot of silver there, so that makes sense. And sure enough, the alien has appeared there and has immobilized the guards just as the bats make their appearance. The alien turns his weapon on Batwoman's motorcycle, and the Batmobile narrowly misses crashing into them. Batman grabs a bottle of some chemicals and smashes it on the alien's anti-gravity sled, thinking that, well, the bottle contains, he says, the bottle contains chemicals used in experiments with ultraviolet light. His sled will now leave a trail of drops for us to follow. So now they've got a trail to follow, and it leads them to this old factory, again in pursuit of the alien. But as they come up to the factory, the alien appears at the door, still looking for his Vox, as he says. And Batman says, he's brought a fantastic machine with him, get back. He turns the machine on, and immediately Batgirl and Robin begin disappearing. Batwoman says, Batgirl and Robin disintegrating into nothingness. We'll probably go next. My body is tingling, growing weak. Me too, I feel as if every atom in me is stretching, breaking free of my body. And we stop on the cliffhanger here. Has it happened at last? Has death come to these brave champions of justice? Continued in Chapter 2. All right, let's go to Chapter 2. Death from Beyond. Another great splash page with some sort of big purple dragon. The alien. So the Silver Age were one of the things that was common in the Silver Age Batman was he was often fighting alien creatures and traveling to other planets and things like that. And he was no longer the Dark Knight detective, He was more of an intergalactic space warrior in an attempt to sort of make the stories a little bit more lighter. And so a lot of the spaceships and the alien technology and the creatures and everything, the way they're drawn in these, I always found so, pretty ridiculous. This purple dragon. So we find out that Batgirl and Robin have disappeared, but for some reason Batman and Batwoman have not. And they hear the alien grumbling that his teleporter should have transmitted the two of them to his dimension as it did the boy and the girl, but it didn't. And this reassures Batman that Batgirl and Robin are still alive. And he can't figure out why it's not transmitting them. So he decides to lock them up in the factory while he goes in search of more Vox. And while they're locked up there, Batwoman begins commenting about how she's having the sensation that she feels like a part of her is missing, like she's been split into two beings. Batman agrees that somehow their other selves are on a strange world, and indeed we find out that somehow their spirit or their soul or some other part of them, some sort of spirit part of them, has actually been transported to the alien world, and here they are, sort of like these glowing spirit beings, while their physical forms are left back on Earth. They realize that what has happened is their energy force has been teleported, and which now leaves their physical bodies very weak and without strength. As they look in the distance, they see these sort of tall, this alien city of buildings that are up on these poles. They're starting to crack open. They think that it's because their energy forms are giving off such powerful pulses of force that it's destroying anything in range. And so these bird-like creatures come out and believe that Batman and Batwoman are attacking them. So they come out to defend their city. And as they try to escape, they realize that the energy they're giving off is just destroying everything. They can't hide. And in fact, they've left a trail for the bird beings to follow them.
Hi, Sean here, one half of Sean and Kiara. We are the co-creators of Lucy in the Sky, a graphic novel for middle grade readers published by First Second. Our second graphic novel, Rhiannon, will be out in October of 2025. If you like the things we do, please consider supporting us by becoming a paying member of our Patreon site for $4 a month. And if you enjoy videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, as it'll help us build this channel. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
And back on Earth, Batwoman and Batman break into the room where they find the teleporter machine that the alien had used on them. They're going to try to figure out how to use it to get their energy forms back again. And now we see another menace has come into the sky to threaten Batman and Batwoman. It's some sort of a colossal beast, like a big purple dragon with sort of horns with pom-poms on its head. But they see it's going for the bird people. It's attacking the bird people. And the spears of the bird people don't seem to be doing anything against the dragons, just bouncing off their skin. So Batman and Batwoman decide to take their energy and use it to blast the creature. They manage to wound the beast, but it's still coming for us. Quick, grab my hand, maybe we can destroy it together. And so, holding hands, they're able to channel their collective energy at the beast and are able to bring it down. Now back on Earth, Batman thinks he's come up with the solution. He remembers that they were standing on a manhole cover, and he thinks that the steel of the manhole cover was maybe shorting out the efficacy of the teleporter ray. And so all they need to do is to repeat it again, to stand on the manhole cover and put the teleporter in reverse, and maybe they'll get their energy forms back again. But then back on the alien world, as the beast is dying, Batman and Batwoman find that it's beginning to absorb all their energy. The bird people are trying to warn them to step away from it, but as it's wasting away, it's absorbing all their energy. And on Earth, the physical Batman and Batwoman are feeling this. They're feeling all their energy sort of dissipating, and they feel as if they're dying. They're getting weaker and weaker. And now they're worried that they'll never be able to get the projector running and to unite themselves with their energy forms. And so we come to this last scene of the second part, which is one of my favorite scenes. There, Batwoman says, "Hold me close. If I must die, I want to be in your arms. Oh, Batman, you know I love you. Dying wouldn't be so bad if I knew you loved me too." He says, I do love you. I never wanted to admit it before. Oh, Batman." This panel is so great. Batman, you know, the Batman that we're used to nowadays is very, very dark, and he's got his sort of weird thing with Catwoman, and you know he's definitely he's definitely into the ladies, what he wants to be. This Batman is such a square. I mean, look, he's barely moving. He's just sitting there. It's great. And it ends with, "I can't let you die. There must be something I can do." Oh no, what's going to happen? All right, we'll skip the letters page. And we go to the third part. Now we get to see what happens to Robin and Batgirl. Another very tantalizing splash page here. The Dimension of Doom. So Robin and Batgirl we find that they have rematerialized on the alien's world. We hear that his name is Karn, and that he has been sent to Earth in search of Vox, which is what we call silver. Vox, or silver, is rare on the alien's world. And we find that they need this to power this weapon. The person that has sent him in search of Vox is planning on using this weapon against the alien world's president. so that this guy can set himself up as dictator. He says, I'll destroy the president's meager army and make myself dictator. And while he's giving us all this exposition, what does Batgirl do? She says, would anyone mind if I put on a little lipstick? And the alien says, ha ha, very smug. A female is the same in any world. When facing a problem, she always resorts to powdering her nose or putting on fresh lipstick. But little do these idiots know that Batgirl has a trick in store for them. She opens her lipstick, and out come tendrils of wire entangling us. And this allows Robin to get a good punch in. And out they go the window, out into the alien landscape. But soon they find themselves pursued by Zebo's men. Zebo is the maniacal scientist who's planning the takeover. And as they flee, not only are they being pursued by these men on their weird horses, but they are pursued by this prehistoric-looking beast. It looks like a prehistoric blue woolly rhinoceros. But Robin has an idea. He sees insects hovering over this cup-like plant that seems to contain a sticky sweet syrup. So he's going to try to distract the beast from coming at Batgirl. He dumps the flower cup of syrup on the beast, and she says, "Oh, Robin, you're wonderful. Hurry, Batgirl, hurry." They run off, but another danger awaits them. These sort of plant-like things with arms with pods on the end. It seems to strike at Robin, but they realize that it was only an accident, that the knob on the end of the tendril is a sucker disc, and it shoots out to absorb the water. And as she helps him up, she says, "Oh, I'm so glad you're all right. I was so worried about you." "Gosh, you were? Gee, Batgirl, I and it's like the comic has become a smooch fest. But he quickly comes back to his senses. Hoofbeats. Zebo's men are getting closer. So I like this. This is like one thing after another here. The rhinoceros with the syrup cup and the sucker discs, and then the kiss, and now there's sled riding on these big leaves down this hill. But they find themselves cut off by this lake. Robin has an idea, though, thinking of the water-sucking plants. So they manage to grab some plant cups and fill up some water from the lake just as Zebo's men arrive. And he says, "Okay, Batgirl, now." And they splash the water down in front of the Zebo's men and their horses, and out come the sucker discs, entangling them all. But one of Zebo's men got free. Robin says, "We could use his horse. Come on, Batgirl." And as Batgirl grabs him by the ankles, Robin knocks him out. They grab his horse and gallop away. And meanwhile, Zebo sees government troops beginning to arrive, and he realizes that Batgirl and Robin have tipped off the authorities. So he hurries to his own projector machine and decides he's going to transport himself to hide on Earth's dimension with Karn. Batgirl and Robin rush in just as he's disappearing. Meanwhile, Batwoman and too many bats here. Batwoman and Batman have drummed up a last bit of their strength to tip over the projector and put some skates underneath it so that they can roll the thing out to where the manhole cover is. Karn arrives with some more Vox just as Zebo materializes. Robin and Batgirl suddenly reappear. They've used the projector on themselves to bring themselves back. At the same time, Batman and Batwoman have drawn their energy selves back into their physical bodies, and now the Bat team is ready to take out Karn and Zebo finally. Batman says as he delivers his knockout, "Now I feel like my old self again." And so we see that Batman and Batwoman have decided to tie up Zevo and Karn and send them back to their own dimension and then destroy the projector. Batman says it would be best to destroy the teleporter just as you arranged with their president to destroy the other teleporter in the alien dimension, eh, Robin? But Robin and Batgirl are wandering off to the woods. Batwoman says, I'm afraid he can't hear you now. Which reminds me, I did hear you admit that you loved me. Batman thinks to himself, he's got to think quick. I've always managed to escape death traps, all kinds of danger, but how do I get out of this? And so he says, Batwoman, I thought we were going to die, and I wanted to make your last moments happy ones, as he flicks her on the chin. I wonder. The end. Yeah, this ending really brings only one word to mind. So I hope you enjoyed this immensely entertaining Batman adventure. And I say that unironically. When I read this as a kid, this was one of my favorite ones because it was just so off the wall. I must have read this thing a bazillion times. So thank you for joining me, and come back again when I pick another winner from the annals of Batman.